What's that? 10, not 7, not 8, not 9, 10 wins in a row for the Philadelphia Eagles. There better not be any Jalen Hurts slander on this show today, because the Philadelphia Eagles just straight manhandled and dominated the Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday. It's a victory overreaction Monday right here on Trending in the AM live in 30 seconds.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 woo!
And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome all to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live, so do me that favor. Smash that like button, Hulk smash the subscribe button, and just share this out and get as many people in here as possible because it is a victory Monday. So the more Eagles fans, the merrier to talk about what we watched yesterday on Sunday as the Philadelphia Eagles put a whooping on the Pittsburgh Steelers, 27-13, guys. So like, share, subscribe, as the man chatter said. We are at 301 subscribers. We've crossed the 300 subscriber threshold in the 10 weeks that the Eagles have been winning, have been the 10 weeks we've been building this channel. So please help a guy out. Now we're on to 500. That's the next big goal, guys. So please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. Guys, I'm Phil Stiefel, your host, as always, right here on Trending in the AM. You can find me at Bearded Knowledge on all social media platforms, guys. We got a jam-packed show. Talking Eagles beating the Pittsburgh Steelers, talking Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and the entire offense, putting all the critics to bed. I'm sure we won't hear any apologies from any of the critics. We'll find something to critique. I'm sure if the pump man shows up today in the comments, he'll find something negative to say. But let me tell you something. That was as dominating a victory as you can. And you know what? Say all you will. And we'll get to the comments, and there's a lot rolling in already in 1 second. Say all you will about the throwing of Jalen Hurts to A.J. Brown and the touchdowns and whatnot. The Eagles got the ball with 10 minutes and change left in the fourth quarter and ran all 10-plus minutes off the clock in a 21-play game-ending drive. Just let that sink in. 21-play, 10-plus minute drive to end the game. There's no such thing that I've ever heard like that happening. 21 plays straight, 10-plus minutes. I mean, come on, guys. That was a phenomenal coaching performance from the players, performance from everybody, top to bottom. So we're going to dive into it. That's right, Mad Chatter, 301. Player of the game, BG. The BG brand, the Brandon Graham, Tom Brady interaction before the game was pretty funny. What's up, Stevie Fuentes? Sirianni outcoached Tomlin. Absolutely. Sirianni deserves a lot of credit how he handled last week's drama. Dude, you're spot on, Stevie. Spot on everything you had said here. Nick Sirianni handled it well all week long, and he handled it well yesterday. And he definitely outcoached and outclassed Mike Tomlin. Good morning, Duck. How are you? Called it 27-17. Well, you didn't call it then because it was 27-13. I didn't think it was going to be that much of a one-sided affair yesterday at all. I really thought the Steelers would put up a better fight than that, but my bad for thinking the Steelers had some fight or some dog in them. That is right. Victory Monday is always the best Monday. Time to get ranking. You love your rankings. It's literally 8:04. We're just getting started, just so you know. He legit is clown show Adam. Or he kept his clown show. Yeah, come on, Duck. Just like Pump Man can't say anything bad about Jalen Hurts. You can't say anything bad about Nick Sirianni today. There's just nothing bad to say. Ban Fairway, what? What are you talking about? Good morning. Good, Rick. How you doing today? The power of positivity is strong in Philadelphia Eagles Nation today, Rick. Hurts is such a professional, went to work, took care of business yesterday, and shut up a lot of the doubters. A complete masterpiece minus the fumble. Yeah, I mean, Everybody makes a mistake. Even me, being perfect, makes a mistake from time to time. But Jalen Hurts went out there, put the crazy, and I guarantee you, Steve, that Emmanuel Acho or Chase Daniels ain't going to be, I'm so sorry, I was so wrong on him. No, they're going to find something negative to say. No, they'll figure something out or to negatively spin it. You even notice that the announcers after the game were spending more time talking about Pittsburgh and how it just didn't matter to them versus the Eagles and their dominating 10th win in a row yesterday. Good morning, Anthony. Happy Victory Monday to you as well. Jalen Hurts was awesome again. I love that you put again at the end of it because, again, he was awesome. I love it. I love it. Can't find anything because Hurts actually scored tutties. Well, he scored a lot of tutties. Another game with 3 tutties. How about that? Bruce Bryce Harper, good morning to you. How are you this morning? Eagles had the ball 24 minutes of the 32nd. Absolutely. 40-plus minutes of time of possession for the Eagles overall yesterday. A 40-20 time of possession differential yesterday. Just let that sink in. 40-20. That's insanity, the time of possession battle. Steelers had 10 plays the entire second half. I mean, I was going to make a joke. Anthony, slacker, Jalen Carter only playing 39 snaps yesterday because, there was only 41 snaps to begin with, or 43 snaps total. How dare you only play 39? Jordan Davis only played 18 snaps, but because of how few defensive plays there were, it was like 40-some%. Insanity. It's what the defense needed, though, too. We dominated all aspects just about. Absolutely. We put to bed the drama, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown. We put to bed any doubt in Jake Elliott. We put to bed any doubt in Nick Sirianni. Literally, it was the put the doubt to bed game. I love it. The Eagles just impose their will on other teams. They do, Rick. And I've been feeling it for a little while, and I haven't wanted to say it, but I'm feeling it now. This Eagles team has a very special vibe feeling to it to me now. This team, man, I feel like I did before Carson Wentz went down. Like I really thought 17 was the year. It was. Man, there's a legit chance that the Eagles will be back in February playing for the championship. And there's a legit chance that this Eagles team can win that big game and could go toe-to-toe with Buffalo, Detroit, Baltimore. We've already proven that. Kansas City, a legit chance because they impose their will, at will, against every opponent. Who cares that Jared Goff threw for 400 yards? They lost. Who cares? Now, if they lose next week and we win next week against Washington, the number 1 seed is in play again, guys, which we actually need because if there's something negative to come out of yesterday's Eagles game, it was the mounting injuries that are starting to accrue for the Eagles. So getting that bye week might actually be a blessing. I'm glad a lot of the fans who were mean to Nick have decided to give him the respect he deserves. Some of them will still doubt him. Look, there's no way you can criticize anybody from the Eagles after yesterday. Josh Allen scored 1 touchdown every 2 minutes. Probably something like that. I feel it's only a matter of time that the fans will turn on Nick again after we finally have a bad game, but we know the truth. Look, I'm fine with Nick Sirianni. And they'll probably lose a game. 3 games left. Washington, all 3 games are division games. Look, they might lose one here, somewhere along the line. But I'm not worried about it. Not worried about it one bit. I was at the game. What a time. I'm glad to hear that. I'm sure that crowd was as fiery as the battle on the field was. A lot of people cope and seething. Yeah, maybe. Big Al in the heezy. Yeah, that's right. The defense was the star of the game. It's crazy because the Eagles offense put up how much? Over 400 yards of offense. Get the defense. And another game that the defense held their opponent to under 20 points. Another game that they held there. That was 167 yards of total offense that they held the Steelers to. My God. And the Steelers offense has been putting up numbers. Hurts after the first 3 drives had almost 150 passing yards, more than his total from the previous 2 games. He put up more yards than he did the last 2 games combined. Love that they made an emphasis to throw. Saquon may not get the record, but the goal is a Super Bowl. Saquon Barkley definitely looked banged up. He was one of the guys. Obviously took some big hits yesterday. Steelers' run defense was very good yesterday, and they've been good all year, giving up an average of 91 yards a game. So the Steelers did what the Ravens could and stopped him. Doesn't help that Landon Dickerson got hurt in, I believe it was the first quarter or first half and never came back in. Lane Johnson went out briefly. Mekhi Becton went out briefly. Saquon Barkley missed a huge chunk of the second quarter. A.J. Brown got hip drop tackled late in the game, and that was pretty concerning as well. The Eagles are a banged-up team right now. Really, really are banged up, and they really need to make sure that they are healthy. The one thing that can stop a team like the Eagles is injuries, and we don't want that to happen. Also, I feel we were more physical and hit Pittsburgh and pushed them around and also hit them much harder. There was a lot of hard hitting going on in that game, Bruce. A lot of hard hitting going on in that game. We'll talk about the Jalen Carter situation in a little bit, too. The long drive was a masterclass. No narratives Monday. I like it's not overreaction Monday. No narrative Mondays. I like that. I'm writing that down. No narrative Mondays. Like that one, Big Al. That's worthy of a write down. Yeah, Allen has the MVP in the bag. Question: does the Bills or the Lions have any defense? Yeah, look. Yeah, I'm not worried about the Bills and Lions today. I'm worried about the Eagles today. I firmly believe that this Eagles team can beat Detroit. In Detroit or in Philly come January. Bills, we'll see. Rams and Bucks might be able to stop, and triple stop. Phil, also, I feel we were more physical and pushed Pittsburgh around and also hit them much harder. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree with you. Jalen Hurts yards per attempt this year is the highest in his career, and yet his completion percentage is also the highest in his career. QBR, 104.5. Jalen Hurts 7, a masterclass. Plain and simple, Anthony. Should be getting more conversation. He's not going to win the MVP, but he should at least be in the conversation a little bit more frequently. For sure. The Steelers are old school physical. And you know what? We took their punches and we punched them right back, mister. Right back. They kept them under 100 total yards in the first half. If it wasn't for the self-inflicted wounds in the first, this would have been a full-on ass whooping. Yeah. There were a couple of fumbles. Jalen Hurts, Cooper DeJean had some fumbles, which kept the Steelers in it early. Got to clean that up, but I'm sure ball security drills will be at a high premium this week. And, yeah, for sure. When healthy, where do you rank Hurts, AJ, and Devontae in terms of QB wide receivers in the league? I don't think there's a better trio in the league because there's not a better duo than AJ and Devontae. There's just not. Not anybody better than those two wide receivers on the same team. And then you throw in Jalen Hurts, who, critics aside, is a damn fine quarterback. So it might be the best trio. I put it out there like a month or so ago, those two, Hurts and Saquon, and where that, quartet sits around the league. And I think it's the most dangerous offensive weapon, team in football right now. Absolutely agree with you. Absolutely. Compared to the rest of the league, the Eagles are not really banged up. It was week 15. Every team is, yeah, I know. I get that. I was a little concerned about the amount of nicks and bumps and bruises that they took yesterday, Rick. Obviously, Jalen Hurts has got a broken finger that came out before the game. His left ring finger, no big deal. A ring finger is, manageable on your non-throwing hand. But you saw him wincing a few times. The Saquon Barkley not playing the majority of the second quarter was a concern. He took that. They kept showing that big hit he took along the goal line. And, Nick Sirianni said he was fine. Saquon Barkley said he was banged up a little bit. The A.J. Brown hip drop tackle thing was a concern late in the game. Landon Dickerson not coming back in was a major concern. Obviously, Lane Johnson and Mekhi Becton came in after their injuries very briefly. Darius Slay went out again briefly. There were a lot of guys getting nicked up. And it is week 15. I get that. But it is week 15, which means the playoffs are almost here, which means we need these guys to be healthy come January and February, hopefully. So just got to be careful. Just got to be cautious with these guys. Luckily, the smash-mouth football that we played yesterday against the Steelers won't be the type of football we'll be playing the next 3 weeks. So the hard-hitting and that kind of stuff might be a little bit more manageable the next couple weeks. Detroit is getting ravaged by injuries that are affecting their defense. I mean, Detroit's been getting ravaged with injuries for most of the season since Hutchinson went down for the year many weeks ago. But yeah, Detroit's got more guys on IR than any team in football at this point. I mean, it's a really long list of guys that are hurt on their team. So the Eagles getting nicked up is one thing. Obviously, it's not as bad as Detroit, but that's going to probably be Detroit's demise come playoff time, the amount of starters that they don't have available come playoff time. So that's something there, obviously, with Detroit that they're going to have to figure out a way to manage. When you take the first week bye to the players' right and week off to recover, absolutely. I want that first-round bye. And anybody that tells you that the Eagles don't need or it's not that important to get the first-round bye, just don't get it. That week off will be massive for this team. That week off will make everybody rested. So if I'm the Eagles, now that we're tied with Detroit, I think they've got the tiebreaker right now, Detroit, on us. But I'm pushing for it. I'm trying to win out. I'm trying to go 15-2. Detroit still got some tough games left on their schedule. If Detroit loses one game, I want that role. I want that one seed so badly. You know how difficult it is? You know how loud, I'm sure Big Al can comment in the section, how loud the link is on a given Sunday. Can you imagine on playoff Sunday? Detroit don't want to come to Philly. Minnesota don't want to come to Philly in the playoffs. Nobody wants to come to Philly in the playoffs. Detroit even had a pretty deep defensive staff, and they still have to get players from stacking shelves to play. They have literally had like a dozen defensive players go on IR this year, and I'm not even being sarcastic. Better late than never, Judd. To the victory domination Monday. That's it. If we don't get the first round bye, the Giants game will be that for the starters. That's fine. That's true. If we can't get the bye, you'll see the Giants game. You'll see a lot of guys get sat. I get that, Big Al. Doesn't mean I don't want that number one seat, though. I want this team to get healthy. I want this team to win. I want this team to be able to win, in the playoffs. Getting healthy is very important. But that extra week, I want them to be able to rest their starters. Hell, you can sit Kenny Pickett. You can sit Jalen Hurts and start Kenny Pickett and Kenny Gainwell in week 18 and still beat the Giants probably. The Giants are toast. They're trash. They're done. Hurts don't it. What? I don't even get that. Shout out to Phil thinking Eagles could beat Vikings or Packers. What? We've already beaten the Packers. He went and did it, man, and they got to say now. Yeah, absolutely. Who? Who's that? Not even sure who that is. Did I miss something there? Us Steelers fans yesterday were beat down by the Birds fans by the third quarter. There were probably a lot of Steelers fans at the game. There was a lot more Pittsburgh transplants in PA than people realize. But yeah, we did beat the Packers. Yeah, I know. Exactly. Giants are tanking, and rightfully so. They're tanking. Brian Dabble will be gone by the end of the season, or after the season. Probably should. So should their GM. Bring in a whole new crew. Go pick a quarterback, et cetera, and refresh that organization. I don't think anyone wants to come to Philly for the playoffs in any sport. Well, true. Not every sport makes the playoffs, though. So maybe they want to come to Philly for the playoffs for a little rest and relaxation. I mean, obviously, the Sixers season is now officially over, Steve, with Jared McCain and Joel Embiid both getting hurt over the weekend. So there ain't going to be any teams don't care about coming to Philly for playoff basketball. But that's another whole subject for another day. Cut neighbors from fantasy. What? Don't even care about fantasy. Buccaneers look great. The Buccaneers don't look great. I know they beat us, but come on now. The Buccaneers stink. And we've already whooped up on. We beat the Rams by almost 20. So come on. Don't give me that lame-ass stuff. This has been a dominating Eagles team now for 10 straight weeks. 10 straight weeks. Just think about that. And we are 1 one Saquon Barkley drop from being 13-1 instead of 12-2. Italian athlete history. Who is this now? I got to Google search this. Rocky. Let's pull out the phone. Let's do a live on the air Google research here, since he's just going to shame me, Nooms, and not tell me the answer. Rocky. It's like 9th on the list of things. Baseball player from the Bronx. He died December 10th. He was born in 1933. Looks like he played for the Indians. He was 90 years old, 91 years old. Player, coach, television, sports. Yeah, I don't know who that is. No clue who that is. Never heard of the name. Sam Darnold wouldn't be able to last against the Eagles D-line. Absolutely not, Steve. Anybody that thinks they could is crazy. Yeah. Got to clean it up. Got to clean it up for the holidays. Definitely thanks for noticing. That's cute that you noticed. But back to Sam Darnold. Back to the defensive line of the Eagles. I mean, let's just talk about we can talk about Jalen Carter. We can obviously do that. And I want to talk about Jalen Carter and his emotions and keeping them in check. Let me tell you something. How about Nolan frickin' Smith yesterday? The game that he had, not just getting the sack, but he was in the backfield, making plays, flying all over the place. All those people that called Nolan Smith, Beansy is one of them, a bust, and didn't give him but 3 minutes to prove his worth. Nolan Smith is turned into a hell of a defensive end. Nolan Smith might mean that we don't have to draft an edge rusher in the first round next year. Nolan Smith is proven to be a very, very good young edge rusher in the NFL. It's pretty great to see. Pretty fantastic to see. Playoffs: Lions, Eagles, or Vikings, Bucks, Rams. What? Vikings, Buckers. Look, that's pretty much who's making. I don't know if the Rams are definitely in or not yet, but yeah. Still dominate despite 2 bad turnovers in the first quarter. Look, the turnovers are turnovers. Jalen Hurts has to protect the ball better, but also, Brian, TJ Watt is a menace, and before he got hurt, was wrecking havoc all game. The punch out that he had there was, that's just one dominant player dominating another great player. You know, it sucks. It's bad. You gotta have better technique, but it is what it is. And then the Cooper DeJean fumble on the punt return. Yeah. Cooper DeJean gets hit back there when he's returning punts, and I hate seeing it completely. Vikes tried to come in here with Case Keenum last time. Bring that Darnold in here next. Absolutely. Yeah. Bring it on. I'm all ready for it. Swept the AF. Hey, we did. The AFC North. We did. And to think that the Cleveland Browns was the closest of those 4 games, Judd. Fantastic point. We swept those bleepity bleeps. Okay? We dominated Russell Wilson. We dominated Joe Burrow. We dominated Lamar Jackson. And then we let the Browns keep it close. Think about that one. Hey, think about this. Steelers locked the playoff even losing to it. Yeah, and you know what? I hate it. But the announcers, Brady and company, spent most of the end of the game trying to spin it that it's no big deal that the Steelers lost. If the Eagles were losing that game, they would have spun it as a big deal that the Eagles were losing. But yes, it wasn't a big deal that the Steelers lost because all they got to do is beat Baltimore next week to win their division. I figured out what you meant there, buddy. Smith and Nakobe Dean are showing the game has slowed down for them. I think that's a great way to phrase it. The game has slowed down. It's true. It has. Nolan Smith has just become a force on the defensive line. And Nakobe Dean, obviously always had the talent. He just had to stay healthy. And him and Zach Bond have become the perfect pair there at interior linebacker. And I'm so ecstatic. I'm so happy for Nakobe Dean because I was so high on him to begin with. Nolan Smith, I just love the fact that so many wrote him off after 1 year. And now he's finally starting to turn heads now in his second year. Had a dream. I had a dream that we traded up for Travis Hunter. Not talking about trades and stuff like that just yet. Off seasons are for off seasons. We could get a first round O-line, man. We could. You definitely got to start thinking about this offensive line, the future of the offensive line. I was skeptical of Nolan Smith, but he's been playing great. Look, just remember one thing about Nolan Smith, guys. Going into that draft, there were people that had him a top 10 in the draft, and we got him at 30, 31, whatever it was. There were people that literally thought he was a top 10 pick, and he fell. So he has the talent. He had the pedigree. He had size issues, motor issues maybe, but he's worked his damn ass off, and look at him now. A damn anchor on the Eagles' defensive line. Don't forget Russell Wilson's first loss against the Eagles in his career. Absolutely. That makes this even more special. Let's give Gainwell some love for somebody had a where's K1 today? Stepping in and having some nice big plays. Absolutely. Kenny Gainwell's earned himself a big paycheck, Stevie, in the offseason. The running backs are returning to prominence. Gainwell, I don't think he's a free agent, but I think he might get moved on from after this year. And he's going to start. He might not start, but he's going to get a large role on another team next year somewhere, probably. I agree that Dean and Smith growth is totally understated in the defensive success. Absolutely. I think people are starting after yesterday to finally speak up on Nolan Smith a little bit. Finally seeing some tweets and stuff like that. But Nakobe Dean ain't getting any love yet. At least not majorly. Is the comments going to start freezing up on me again like the other day? Yes, historically whooped on us. I was nervous. Hey, look, I'm right there with you on that. Nolan Smith. Yeah. Anthony Giannetti should have won the Heisman. Travis Hunter won the popularity contest. Yeah, look. I don't watch college football. I didn't even know the Heisman voting was this weekend until I saw who won the award. So Nolan Smith was my hot take preseason. Better to be lucky than good. Yeah, sometimes it's good to be lucky. Nolan Smith added a bunch of moves and learned to leap from Barkley. Yeah, I don't know if it was a sack or one of his quarterback hits, but I think it was his sack. Just the speed that and the leverage he was able to get around the lineman that had the assignment on him. I mean, I don't know where that's been for the last year and a half, but maybe the game slowed down. Maybe he's added some moves. Maybe he's learned. Maybe he's studied. But, man, pretty special what he was capable of doing there. Marshawn, good morning to you. How dare Jalen fumble that ball? Yeah, I know. Look, the Jalen Hurts haters are going to zone in on that fumble this week. Going to zone in on it. He's got to protect the ball a little bit better, which he does. It was a bad. Clint Hurt was really helped to up the play at D-line, including Jalen Carter. All right, let's address the Clint Hurt, Jalen Carter, Nick Sirianni thing, because that'll be front page news all week, obviously, because they won't talk about them hugging it out afterwards. They'll just talk about it. Jalen Carter obviously got physically involved and smacked the guy in the head. Took a bad personal foul call there on that. Unnecessary roughness. And then on the sideline, you see Nick Sirianni getting all up in Jalen Carter's face. Clint Hurt tries to break it up a little bit. Passionate move from Nick Sirianni trying to teach Jalen Carter to be better. Clint Hurt knowing that there's a lot of emotions running high because of how physical the game was, trying to keep it separated. Jalen Carter's got to be better with his emotions. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But I love how Nick Sirianni and them all, show that emotion on the sideline. As long as someone's there to step in and make sure it doesn't go too far. And then they instantly hug it out. Hurts' best perfume. You know about Jalen Hurts' perfume? I didn't. Hurt is my new hero for giving it back to Nick Sirianni. Yeah. I don't know if he was giving it back to Nick Sirianni. I think he was just telling him to back off a little bit. I will say this, though. Not scoring the first quarter is just as bad as turning the ball over against the Detroit Lions. Well, we didn't just score in the first quarter. We scored twice, a touchdown and a field goal in the first quarter. So not only is Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown good, not only is Jake Elliott confidence return. We also eliminate the other concern of this team, scoring in the first quarter. So this Eagles team basically eliminated every concern yesterday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. It took BG years to shake the bus narrative. It did. It was like 3 years plus. A lot of people should have been more patient. And I bring up Brandon Graham whenever somebody is labeling anybody a bust after 1 year. So, yeah. Kenny G has very good this season. In limited carries, he's been very, very good this season. Eagles ain't letting Gainwell go. Rick, I agree. I wouldn't want him to go anywhere else. He's fine behind Saquon Barkley. But the thing is, they got $32-ish million in cap space right now. That could grow a little bit. I think he's coming up on the end of his contract. You got Milton Williams who you need to keep. You've got guys like Zach Bond that are going to need a raise. Some other contracts will be up for, some other young contracts will be up for things. So I'm not sure if the backup running back will get enough money to stay here. You drafted Will Shipley to be that role for next year. So Kenny Gainwell, unfortunately, this might be his swan song just because of the numbers crunch, Rick. And that's why they brought in Will Shipley to take over number 2 next year. And then maybe when Saquon Barkley retires, be the starting running back. I know the Bears are cutting DeAndre Swift. Give him a prove-it deal. Yeah, that's fine. He's just goes to prove how great the offensive line run blocking is, Marshawn. When you see these guys dominate here, then go elsewhere and stink. Smith jumped the running back, but Wilson escaped that one. Yeah, that is true. Mild or mid in my endo, what? What? I don't even know what half those words mean. 10 points in the first while having 17 all season before yesterday. Fixing issues. They're fixing all the problems. Locker room, on the field, confidence, fixing it all 1 week. Who would have thought it would have been against Pittsburgh? We've had more turnovers in this game than we have in the last 9. Yeah, that's truth. Honestly thought Clint Hurt was a novelty hire, but he has been one of the difference. Look, I don't think enough is made. We give a lot of credit, Marshawn, to Vic Fangio and the hiring of him. We give a lot of credit to Kellen Moore and the hiring of him. And I've tried at times to bring up different assistant coaches, but the teams that are around Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore, so because the defense is going to get a lot of the love, but give it to the offense as well. The team assembled around Vic Fangio at cornerback, at defensive back, at linebacker, the linebacker coach, the cornerback coach, the defensive line coach, has been phenomenal this year. And, I mean, you look at Nakobe Dean's jump. You look at some rookies like Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. You look at Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith and Josh Sweat on the defensive line. Like, the improvements of so many players. It's not just Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio has to have a great team that's in the same mindset as him. And the coaching that's been done all over the field for this team, it's phenomenal. And I think they all deserve a round of applause. And I'm going to think about this. I got to look at some of these things a little bit more. But I think Clint Hunt is a good idea for a Eagles Pin Pull podcast show. Jalen Carter has the maturity of Andrew Bynum. Look, Jalen Carter has to be smarter with his emotions, channel his emotions better. But you know what? In that game, I understand it in the moment. Had a fight with the wife, so I didn't even get to watch most of the third or any of the fourth. Had to catch highlights. Damn. Hope you won. Yeah, right. When do we ever win, right? Hope it's okay, though. Good morning, Little G. Hope you are well. That's right. 12-2, baby. 12-2. Just think about that. I know we scored twice, Phil. I'm just saying, against the Lions, we have to score a lot and often. See, the thing is, here's the thing. We don't need to score 14 or 21 points in the first quarter. We have to score in the first quarter against the Lions. But you got to also understand that this Eagles defense, the way they're playing right now, isn't going to let Detroit put up 20 points in the first quarter. Like, I know the Bills have scored 40-plus the last 2 games and gone 1-1. Detroit put up 40-some yesterday against Buffalo in a losing effort. But this Eagles defense ain't going to give up 40 points. They're not going to give up 30 points. They've only given up more than 20 points like 3 times all season. And once was in game 1 in Brazil against the Packers. This Eagles defense held a top offense in Pittsburgh to 13 points. This Eagles defense will keep Lions and everybody else in check so that the Eagles offense doesn't have to put up all that you're hinting at there. 290, 2 touchdowns is a good game. I'd say yesterday was a little bit better than a good game, TMC. Gainwell will end up getting paid by another team. Shipley, yeah, absolutely, it's how it's going to be. Unfortunate, but it's the truth. Someone needs a word with CJ. GJ knocked that Frymer touchdown down. He was a little late on that play, I think. It was a combination of CJ GJ was a touch late to the play or to the point of contact. Fryermuth is just big and strong, and it was a great catch by him. But CJ was a little late to the point. What's up, Mitchie Pooh? Good morning to you. We hit the 300 mark this weekend. Mitchie Pooh on to 500. I told everyone that AJ thing was a nothing burger. It was frustrated wide receiver, asked the question, and was curt instead of elegant. Absolutely. Agreed. Some people just don't have the ability to put word salads together like Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts when answering things. Going to lose half that defensive staff this year, and that's a damn shame. Yeah, that's true. That's the problem with winning. That your coaching tree gets poached. I still hope Kellen Moore they find a way to keep him. They got to find a way to keep a couple of these defensive coaches around. Maybe one of them is a future defensive coordinator, and maybe they give him an added bonus to say, hey, you'll be the Vic Fangio replacement in a couple of years. I don't know. But we're going to lose guys, definitely this year. I love how ex-Division III mediocre wide receiver Sirianni thinks he can tussle with a monster. I don't think it was anything like that. Emotions were running high. Don't try to create drama where there isn't drama. Why would any player do anything other than pull a Lynch during locker room interviews? I don't know. I am only talking to you because I have to. I agree. Looking back on the Marshawn Lynch situation, I wish players would do that more often now. I turned on the Lions game for 5 minutes. I thought Pitt would have gotten the ball back for the penalty. Did they call it after the kick penalty? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't gotten a full understanding of what happened there, Nooms. I turned the game back on and was shocked to see that they had the ball back that quickly after the Carter penalty. And they marched down the field 21 plays. Never gave the ball back. Per Ian Rappaport, the 49ers are planning to suspend linebacker DeAndre Campbell 3 games, ending this season. Yeah, look, the whole Campbell thing. And I love actually, I'll give you this, Mitchie Pooh. I'll actually compliment the 49ers for how they're handling the Devondre Campbell situation. He quits on his team and is trying to force his hand to get cut so he can go latch on somewhere else. And the 49ers are like, you quit on our team. We're not going to reward you by cutting you and letting you go play somewhere else. We're going to suspend you, maybe without pay. That way you can't go play anywhere else. Good for the 49ers on that. And that Campbell guy should not be welcomed into anyone's locker room ever again. Jags scored 23, but 7 came off that ridiculous fumble. Last offense to score more than 20 was Tampa Bay week 4. And that was a different team in week 4. This team is different since the bye. They've given up more than 20 points 3 times. The Jags, the Packers, and Tampa Bay. 2 of those were in the beginning portion of the season. Just think about that. And we're 2-1 in those games anyway. Nobody's coming into Philly in the playoffs and putting up 30 points, 25 points against this defense. Nobody. This is going to, I remember doing it a couple weeks ago. I'll have to double check now. But this is going to go down as the most dominant Eagles defense. It's going to go neck and neck with the 1991 Reggie White-led Eagles defense, as which defense is the most dominant in Eagles history. That's how special this Eagles defense is. And yeah, I might be pushing the limits by saying that because I know there's a lot of fond memories of the 1991 defense to the older people. But this might be a better defense than 1991. It really might be. And I might have to do a little side-by-side comparison. How about Tomlin not going for him 4th and 7? Absolutely. Big mistake by Mike Tomlin there. 10 minutes left. And the great thing was, Mike Tomlin's got to think that his defense can make one stop against the Eagles. They just couldn't. 10 minutes, 21 plays, to end the game. Just think about that. That's insanity. Campbell penalty would cost most. What Campbell penalty would cost most than keeping him and suspending him. Maybe I don't know. Bills might. They would be a shootout. I don't know. I mean, obviously the Bills' offense is pretty special. But I'm trying to think. They might not be held to under 20, the Bills. First and foremost, let's backtrack here for a second. Buffalo would have to get to the Super Bowl first. Josh Allen has put up MVP numbers before and come up small in the playoffs. Let's start with that conversation, Duck. Buffalo and Josh Allen crash in the playoffs more often than not. Never been to a Super Bowl, okay? So first he would have to get to the Super Bowl. That's part one. Part two, the Eagles' defense has stopped everybody. Now, Josh Allen's a different breed. He's playing at a different level right now. Maybe he can put up 25. Maybe he can put up 28. But I find it very hard to imagine that our offense, the way we dominate time of possession in the game, will even give the Bills enough offensive possessions to score more than 30 points. That's how special this defense is. That's how special this team is. I mean, again, think about it. This Eagles offense held the ball for so much of the game yesterday that there was only 43 offensive plays for the Steelers yesterday. 43 offensive plays for a team that's going to make the playoffs, that could win their division next week. Just think about that. Think about how special that is. So the Bills ain't putting up 40 against us. This is not going to happen. It's not necessary to even think about that, in my opinion. Plus, like I said, they got to get to the Super Bowl first. And there's very few teams I have less confidence in the playoffs. Very few elite quarterbacks that I have less confidence in the playoffs than Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Just remember that. How many times they've come up short. In proportion to how watered down the NFL has become since 1901, maybe you can make that statement about the Birds D. I mean, yeah, I'm just thinking about it. 1991 versus 2024. I mean, you had Reggie White, you got Jalen Carter. I mean, they don't have I guess Nolan Smith and whatnot. They don't have the sack numbers. They don't have the interception numbers. But the yards per game and the points per game are neck and neck. I don't think that the Bills will be able to run against the Eagles' defense. I don't think so either. I also think the Eagles' defense will get pressure on Josh Allen. Look, you can make Josh Allen make mistakes. We're already picturing an Eagles-Bills Super Bowl at this point. It's far too early for that. But in theory, I'm not worried. They don't have any wide receivers really that scare me with our cornerbacks. We have let wily little, quarterbacks that can maneuver in the pocket escape for big plays, which Josh Allen does. Love to see Nakobe Dean try to one-on-one tackle Josh Allen. But, again, I still think the Eagles' defense and their offense can keep Buffalo off the field enough where it wouldn't be it would be a shootout, but a low-scoring shootout, if that makes sense. Eagles are definitely a beatable team, but you have to play as perfectly as Foles did. Every team is beatable at all times if you're perfect. Problem is, nobody in the NFL is perfect right now. Nobody, Nooms. So, the Eagles are the best team in the NFL at this point. Did you see Quinion Mitchell get slammed all the way to the stands by that 300-pound lineman? He didn't bitch up like Slay and start crying in his podcast. Actually, it was Slay that was driven through the end zone, not Quinion Mitchell. And it was their tight end, 260-pound tight end, drove him into the wall, into the back of the end zone. Quinion Mitchell is the one that came over and threw the punch. Slay threw a little shove, but Quinion Mitchell came over and it was the one. Quinion Mitchell's going to get a fine this week, as will Jalen Carter, for sure. So Quinion Mitchell is the one that stuck up for Darius Slay. I thought it was Quinion Mitchell, but I only saw the end. And then when I saw the replay, Slay is the one that was hit, and Quinion Mitchell is the one that came over and threw for Slay. Not one of the Bills wide receivers scare me. Not at all. Allen worries me more of a runner than Cook does. Bill's normal game plan wouldn't work against. Yeah, absolutely agree. That was no play Slay that got blocked. Yeah, exactly. Lions and Rams both just put up 40 on the Bills defense. Eagles could too. Absolutely. Absolutely. Bills defense is terrible. I think Steelers were tired of Q being so. Yeah. Look, Quinny Mitchell again, no opportunity for interceptions because nobody throws his way ever. It's kind of pathetic. Allen is a slick running quarterback. We've had a problem with those type of quarterbacks this season. He'll just, the last 2 games showed that. Absolutely. But again, our offense will hold the ball enough, and our defense will make just enough plays that they don't scare me totally. I think it's going to be Eagles-Ravens in the Super Bowl. Really? I haven't really figured it out. I think it might actually be the Chiefs even. I mean, I know didn't Patty Mahomes get injured yesterday maybe? I heard something like about that. Ravens might not even win their division. I don't know. I watched some of that Ravens game yesterday. When Lamar Jackson's on and he's on against bad teams, he really throws. He really puts up some good performances. But again, Lamar, just like Josh Allen, comes up small more often than not in the playoffs. That's why I still pick the Chiefs until proven otherwise. Exactly. He was standing up for his big brother, basically. Slay has been solid. Darius Slay's had a solid season, Duck. He gets dinged up far too frequently in games. He misses plays here and there because of it. But Darius Slay has been damn solid all season long, considering his age. And what did I remember hearing a few weeks back? He's the second oldest starting cornerback in the NFL. So, yeah, he's been fine this year. Mahomes hurt his ankle again. So, here we go. Probably not that serious, or it would have been a bigger story online. Here it is. 2017, Carson Wentz gets hurt. Nick Foles leads the Eagles to the Super Bowl. 2024, Patrick Mahomes gets hurt. Carson Wentz leads the Chiefs to the Super Bowl against the Eagles. Can Carson Wentz get his Super Bowl start for the Chiefs against the Eagles? Now, wouldn't that, maybe the script writers are sitting there thinking, like, ooh, we gotta have a mid-season story credit or edit. Just think about that storyline. Carson Wentz fills in for Patty Mahomes, leads the Chiefs to the Super Bowl, but then runs into the juggernaut Eagles, and the Eagles crush him again mentally. That would pretty much be the end of Carson Wentz right there. They will drug up Mahomes again, and he'll be out there playing. Be crippled by 50, but he'll be not out there. True. That boy does play through a lot. I give Mahomes credit for toughing out stuff like that for sure. I would feel way better against a mobile quarterback with BG healthy. He is just better at not over pursuing. Do you know what? I'm getting more and more confident in Nolan Smith every single week. So, I think the Chiefs will eventually be on the wrong side of one of those one-score games. Hard to win like that. Absolutely it is. Preferably he'll come against the Eagles in the Super Bowl, right? Big tick. Yeah, exactly. Lamar goes off versus the New York Giants and gets praised. But if Hurts does that, and he has, it's always, well, it was against, Hurts ain't getting it. Lamar will get more praise for his trouncing of the Giants yesterday than Hurts will for dominating the Steelers. Guarantee Lamar, instead of Emmanuel Ocho or ESPN The Ocho hyping up Jalen Hurts or apologizing for all the negative Jalen Hurts talk, they're just not going to talk about him. They're just going to talk about Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. That's what they'll talk about. Today's headline will be, who should be the MVP, Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen? Not, we were wrong about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is pretty good at what he does. We all know that, Steve. Andy Reid fixes Carson Wentz, and he may be the best. I just think it would be a hilarious story. Not in the Wentz Revenge Super Bowl. Look, it ain't going to happen because Mahomes will play. They'll find a way to drug up Mahomes. But it would be a storyline, right? We love story. We love people finishing their story, right, Judd? I don't when it's, beaten into my head nonstop, finishing the story. But we love finishing the story. What kind of storybook ending, in a bad way, would it be for Carson Wentz to get to another Super Bowl and lose to the Eagles. It just would be something. Is this thing on? This thing's always on. And it pains me to say it because I'm not an Andy Reid. Andy Reid's top 5 coach all time. Cooper DeJean coughed up the ball on a hell of a hit, but didn't let that shatter. Yeah, you know what? The man manned up, and he played good yesterday, considering how much he got beat up the week before in Carolina, and he was out there fielding punts the next time. So, good for Cooper DeJean. Some rookie mistakes the last couple of weeks, but you know what? Cooper DeJean is getting better every single week. Freddie Burns, what's up? Are we still scared of the Steelers' run game? Harris, I was never scared of the Steelers' run game. I said it all along that was not an issue, that Najee Harris was only averaging 3.9 yards a carry coming into the game. The whole team was only like 3.8, 3.9 yards a carry. Yeah, they had to go to Cordell Patterson at the end of the game to try to change it up. That's right. Go Birds. That's all we got to say. Freddie, it's go Birds. Pretty simple. I love how many times did you type that there? I can't count that. Herbert got more praise in a loss than Hurts got an 11-game winning streak. Absolutely. And again, Justin Herbert coming up small in a big moment yesterday again. But it'll be, he doesn't have good wide receivers, or the defense is no good. That's always what it is, right? It's always that kind of stuff right there. When Bryce Huff coming back, we need the depth on the D-line. That's an interesting question. How many games has he missed? When you go on short-term IR, it's a minimum of 4 games. And they said he should be back after those 4 games. I'm not sure how many games he's missed so far, 2 or 3. So he might be back next week or the following week after that. We'll find out. Eagles beating Wentz by 30 in the Super Bowl would be amazing. That's right. I never knew there was an Independence Day sequel. What? You live under a rock? What is the sub count? I don't know. It was 3:01 to start the show. Are we over 3:01 yet? I don't know. You got to let me know. No Super Bowl without Wentz. Wentz before 17. Look, I've never said anything other than this, Freddie. We don't win that Super Bowl without Carson Wentz. No doubt about it. I believe Huff's practice window opens this week. Yeah, it's either this week or next week. I'm not sure. I will be interested to see if he can give them anything. Maybe the time off was good for him, too. I know you weren't. We were in agreement. I am talking the core 12. Shots fired. What? Not even sure what that is. Cooper has had his welcome to the NFL moment. He's just going to get better. Cooper DeJean, I have all the confidence in the world of my man Coop. And you know what? I love it. I love hearing 70,000 Eagles fans chanting, Coop, every time he makes a play. Love it. The man is the man. Good morning, Eric. How are you? The gatekeeper is here for the final 30 of the show. We can actually begin. Chat 12. What is? I don't know. Somebody's got to refresh it. Yes, it wasn't great. It was a meh movie at best. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You did not just shoot the green at me. What? I don't even know what you're talking about half the time, dude. Guys, you're watching Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. There's about 20 people watching the YouTube room. Please hit that like button and that subscribe button if you haven't already done that. And if you've done both those things, please hit share and share it on some social media platform. The march to 500 subscribers is on. Let's go. Let's get at it. We got 2 weeks left of the year. Let's get on it. We're talking Eagles victory. We're talking Eagles dominant victory. We're talking what this means going forward. We're overreacting to everything. Yeah. So let's get back to the comments. Eric, yep, we're welcoming Eric. Brady wasn't bad at color. You know what? I love how much praise Tom Brady gave Jalen Hurts throughout the broadcast, and then after the game, in the post-game interview. I mean, multiple times, Tom Brady, that's an A-plus throw from Jalen Hurts. I heard that multiple times. You don't hear the other announcers ever giving him any praise. But Tom Brady was giving him praise. And that doesn't make Tom Brady good at his job. But Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. And when he's giving another quarterback praise that's often criticized, maybe some other people should start listening to what Tom Brady is saying about Jalen Hurts. Criticized him on the fumble, but praised him on a lot of throws. I want to say here, I'll get back to the comments in a second. I knew something special was happening yesterday in that game on the first Eagles offensive play. Straight drop back, Jalen Hurts, 22-yard completion directly over the middle of the field to Grant Calcaterra. You just knew there was something special there. Perfectly run play. To all the people who say Jalen Hurts can't throw over the middle, can't go through progressions. Jalen Hurts did all of that yesterday. And on play one offensively, I knew something special was about to happen yesterday because that play was like a pinpoint perfect play. Anyone catch Brady call the Steelers, the Phillies, also saying Harris lost control of his arms? I did not. I missed that. I was just hyped that Brady was giving compliments to Jalen Hurts. The alien ship was shooting at Will Smith. What? We're not turning this into an Independence Day sequel talk at all. 2017 offense still is better at third and long than 2024, but yesterday went a long way towards catching up. Yeah. You know what? I actually would like to twist this in another direction, Nooms, just how great the Eagles' defense is at third down. On third down, last year the biggest problem of the Eagles' defense was getting off the field on third down. They were one of the worst third down defenses in football. This year they're one of the best. First 5 drives, they went three or four drives. They went 3 and out the Steelers because we got off the field. In the first half, they were averaging like a 12 yards per third down, and they got off the field every time. Now they had a couple first downs late in the second, early in the third, but that was it. Who? K1? I don't know. Mad was quoting from the first ID movie. Yeah, look. Independence Day is not on my agenda to talk about today. Not at all. I'm trying to sidetrack him away from that silly conversation. It means something. Everything means something. He did blow Hurts, which was awesome. Hurts deserved it too. Look, he did. He was glazing on him. That's the cool word these days, right? Glazing. Isn't that what the cool kids say? It was glazing Hurts up yesterday, and rightfully so. It's going to be a nice this week of actual talking about Eagles versus Skins instead of locker room drama. Absolutely. Look, Eagles, Steelers, or Eagles, Redskins. I'm getting everything wrong here. Eagles, Commanders is a big game. I want that division locked up. I do. Can I share an example of a goated performance? Do whatever you want. I don't know if I'll understand half of what you say, though. I heard Brady call Elliott Akers. Did he? I must have missed all the Tom Brady mistakes yesterday. I must have. But he's not. I did notice in his opening they always have their pre-recorded opening monologue where the two are talking about the upcoming game, and he stuttered a lot in that thing. But you know what? The X's and O's in game, in the heat of the moment, Tom Brady's done a very good job of it and gotten better. Lots of substitutions on the O-line yesterday. Our boys hurt. That's something that we got the big conversation this week is going to be about the injuries, especially to Saquon Barkley and Landon Dickerson. I know Saquon Barkley, they're saying, is just banged up, but got to keep a close eye on it. Landon Dickerson not coming back in, big concern. Obviously, Becton and Johnson got dinged up. The offensive line is something that I'm concerned about. We'll learn more about it probably by Tuesday. We'll start getting more real information on it. He had way better pocket presence yesterday and actually stepped up in the middle of the pocket. Yeah, he took 2 of the 3 sacks were pretty bad sacks, but outside of that, pretty solid. Steelers had just 2 possessions in the second half. That final drive was wildly great. I don't think people understand how great holding the football for 10 minutes and 21 plays to end the game and not score, how great that is, Freddie. I mean, that's something. Like, I just think it's an amazing thing. We broke 300 this weekend. We're at 301. You know that. We said at the beginning of the show. We started the show at 301. Maybe we've gotten to 302 today. I don't know. Glazing. That's the cool kids word, right? Glazing, right? Phil was risen them baddies. What? No, I was not. That's why the kids at my job, that's what the kids say. That's what the cool kids say. Judge, you're still one of the cool kids, right? Redskins' name is coming back. I did hear something about that. Whatever. I mean, it'll just be another money grab from Josh Harris because that's all he's about. Let's go. That's right. What's up, Barbara? Good morning. So I called that exact score. Did you? I don't remember. I don't write down everybody's score. But congratulations. What's your prize? A round of applause for Barbara. That's all I got for you. I got nothing else. It's been an expensive last week, so that's only going to be more expensive this week. Yeah, the Acres one too. I missed all that. The fans don't realize that by giving DeJean so much attention makes the opposing team attack him harder. It's easy to scream in the stands when you're not getting smashed on the football field. I refuse to call the Skins the Commanders. Yeah, look, it's just the Washington football team, right? Love how Gian addressed the media almost like Russell Crowe and Gladiator. It's that what you wanted? Yeah, basically. Look, A.J. Brown said it too. Look, you guys called for it. Look, see, we can do it. I was worried about them going that route of appeasing the fans and the media, but they proved it. They proved their worth. They proved what they're capable of doing. And now we get back to run the football, right? That's it. Steen was a holding machine. I know he had 2 holds in like 4 plays. He settled in after a while. I don't know if has Tyler Steen played left guard. I know he's played right guard. I know he's played right tackle and left tackle at times this year. Has he played left guard before? I'm not sure, but yeah. Look, Steen, the last time he filled in earlier this year for Becton was fine, but he really struggled filling in for Dickerson yesterday. And let's be honest, Landon Dickerson is arguably one of the top 2-3 left guards in all football, maybe the best left guard in all football. He's a behemoth. He's a mammoth human being. He's a boulder there with speed. So losing him would be a massive, big deal. But yeah, we got the offensive line is a concern coming out of the game. Call them the commies since they are. I've always called them the commies. I love that name. Jerry Jones is in tank mode. He will draft Shader Sanders so he can bring primetime Dion to Jerry's world. Look, they won yesterday, didn't they, the Cowboys? I think they did. So many interesting things around the NFL going on. Please start using Shipley and Gainwell more. We need to preserve Barkley. I have to do the numbers on Barkley. I mean, he still technically could break Dickerson's record. But if he's not going to break the record, which is more likely after yesterday's game, we need to start conserving him for the playoffs for sure. The chief of the tribe that the Skins logo was representing wants it back now that Dan Snyder is gone. Basically, Dan Snyder was just a scumbag, Steve. Absolutely not. The college kids were born. What? I was shocked to see Becton back in the game, but how could you not want part of a 21 play? Yeah, look, he got rolled up on pretty hard there. Pretty hard there. I'll glaze you anytime I want. 2005, they get wide-eyed when I tell them I'm from the 1900s. Yeah? Dude, like you were from like 1999, Judge. So it's not like you were born in like 1980 or something like that. Sandman, you're getting too intellectual for your take and your takes. Man. What was his last take? Jerry Jones. Yeah, Jerry Jones was his last take. Steen will be fine. One of those holds should have been. Yeah, that's true. One of the holds was a face mask on the opposing team as well. I'm not sure how much practice time he's gotten at left guard, and if Dickerson's going to miss time, he'll get a full week practicing there. So I have full confidence in Jeff Stoutland getting him prepared, but there's a drop off from Landon Dickerson and everybody else, no matter what. The time of possession is just wildly shocking. It's insane. It is. Steen is way better from the right side. It seemed like that yesterday. I love how Jalen and Brown act like the media made this whole situation up. AJ is the guy who said passing, and their teammates fed into the fire, not the media. Look, can we just move past it, please? Are any of the players getting suspended after scuffle? There won't be any suspensions, I don't think, but there will be fines. 1,000% there'll be fines. I think Quinion Mitchell will get fined for throwing a punch. Jalen Carter will get fined for sure. Whoever the tight end was that, pushed Slight into the end zone. So there'll be at least 3 fines there. Hopefully Reed Blankenship does not get fined for the roughing the passer personal foul penalty because there was nothing he could do on that. Basically, that was a late slide, and he had no choice there. So We'll see, but there will be a couple fines from yesterday's game. Cowboys ain't getting Sanders. They have 6 wins. Giants are getting him. Yeah, look, I don't care about any of the Sanders situation. I don't hype up any of them. Lions lost 2 more defensive starters. They lost more players yesterday. I know they lost yesterday, but I didn't know they lost more players yesterday. I mean, the Lions are just stacking the injuries, Barb, and I think it's going to catch up to them, and it might finally be catching up to them. It really might be. Mitchie Poo, don't ever change. Don't ever change who you are. We love you for exactly the reason of who you are. Girls crushed Panthers. Yeah. Draft that quarterback. Yeah, look, I don't know. Barkley will need 150 yards in each of the remaining games. Yeah, that's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So, yeah, it's just not going to happen. So, protect the man, right? Keegan was a left guard in college. If Steen continues to struggle, look, you're going to give Steen the chance if Dickerson can't go. But moving forward, at least it's up for conversation, right? Steen is the better pass blocker, but Dickerson is a way better run blocker. I'd like to see more Will Shipley. Well, the only problem with Will Shipley more of is in an important game is if the offensive line is banged up, you get your best pass blocking running backs out there. And Shipley is a rookie. It's hard to trust a rookie in pass blocking and picking up blitzes. So, in that theory, you want to keep Saquon and Kenny Gainwell out there. It was the one about Cooper DeJean. Oh, you missed his comments. Gotcha. Where are the Niners fans? The Niners are just a disaster. What team will Russell Wilson be on next year? Is he on only a 1-year deal, Barbara? I wasn't even sure of that. Look, I'll give credit to Russell Wilson overall. He played terribly yesterday, but that was because the Eagles' defense was phenomenal. Russell Wilson's had a really good year. And if Russell Wilson wants to keep playing quarterback in the NFL, he will. The Steelers would be dumb not to try to keep him because they are winning, more often than not without him. So I would assume that Pittsburgh will do their best to keep Russ. But maybe a team like the Cowboys or the Commanders or Vegas or there's a lot of teams. There's going to be a lot of quarterback moving pieces this offseason, for sure. Mitchell definitely has some dogs in him. He has a quiet demeanor, but don't mess with family. Absolutely. And he protected his papa, his big brother. Am I excited for Raw on Netflix? Absolutely not. I hate it. I hate when I've got to watch anything on a streaming service, sports-wise, because I like to flip during commercials. And you can't flip when you're on a smart TV and you're on Netflix, and I got to log out of Netflix, not log out, turn off Netflix and relog into YouTube TV, and then relog out of YouTube TV and log back into Netflix. Too much button clicking for me. So, no, I'm not excited for it. Forgot about that late slide. Blank actually went outside shoulder. Yeah, look, I think Reed Blankenship did exactly what you're supposed to do in that situation. And it was a late slide to begin with. And, like the NFL, even what's his name? The ref guy that's in the booth with Brady and company said that there's nothing he could do there. It's like it's a late slide. It's a problem in the NFL. Yeah, I think you got to do something to protect the defensive players in that situation. The refereeing was not great again, Nooms, on Sunday. We're not talking about it because of how dominating the victory was. The missed face mask on Tyler Steen that was called a hold. Jalen Hurts got hit late a few times, and no one's talking about it. A.J. Brown was horse tackle collared. Totally forgot about the hip, not horse collar, hip drop tackle rule change. And they said during the broadcast that not one hip drop tackle foul has been called all season. And A.J. Brown almost got seriously injured on that tackle. The refereeing has been bad all year, but when you're winning, you kind of glaze over it a little bit. Yeah, Netflix has the Christmas Day games. You know what's funny? I like Christmas is all about basketball normally, Barbara, and the Sixers do play on Christmas Day. But I have a feeling I'll watch a lot more football on Christmas Day than basketball this year. I mean, I got a lot of work to do on Christmas Day at home because, it's the last day off I'll have. We're going away for New Year's, and it'll be my last day off to clean the house for the dog sitter and start the packing process and stuff. So Christmas Day will be that for me. But I'm cooking my wife a great Christmas dinner. I like Raw when Rikishi was on it. Yeah, the stink face. That was a bad call on Blankenship. It was a late slide. Blankenship was, and it's not even like it was a late slide, and it was a clean hit. He didn't make any helmet-to-helmet contact or anything. CJGJ had the touchdown to the tight end ripped out of his hands. Yeah, he was late to the point of the contact with that. But Pat Fryermuth also just made a super strong catch. Plain and simple. So a little bit of both on that touchdown there. Officiating is a joke, and the rarely call in favor of Philly for whatever reason. Look, I'm sure, Rick, and I get where you're coming from, and I feel the same way. But I bet you there's a lot of teams that feel the exact same way about the officiating never going their way. Unless your name is the Chiefs, I feel like everybody feels this way. Officiating has just been bad. I think the NFL, actually, I think all sports need to sit down and reevaluate how they grade officiating in their sports. Because I don't think bad officiating is punished enough behind the scenes. It's just not. Baseball, basketball, it's the same in all of them. What are the penalties for bad calls? What are the penalties for them to make mistakes like they do? I need to know more about it, and I think they need to reevaluate it massively. And I do think some of the issues with officiating, maybe it's always been bad, but this day and age and instant replay and or how quickly it's there, the all 22 footage that we all get access to social media, we hype up the bad officiating a little bit more. Maybe it's always been this bad, and we just didn't always have the abilities to criticize it as we do nowadays. But still, it's pretty bad. Frymuth had stronger hands and better leverage. Yeah, look, I'm not going to critique CJ on that play. It was just a good play. You know, sometimes someone else beats you. Eagles opponents this season have the least penalties called against them. I mean, that was the case coming into the game. I'm assuming it is still too. They're the least penalized opponents out of opponents in the NFL. It's insane. Mahomes was mediocre again yesterday, and he got hurt. Yeah, something's up in Kansas City, for sure. I think there'll be some major changes in Kansas City. At least Kelsey. I think Kelsey will retire at the end of the year. Okay, if you make a helmet-to-helmet call or any call and replay shows it was a bad call, they change it. Yeah, they should be able to change things like that. And they have made talk. They've talked over the last week or two now about making some changes, like face masking calls are reviewable and stuff like that. I don't want more replays. I want more penalties on the refs for making mistakes. I want to know what the disciplinary nature when refs have bad games is going to be, or umpires or whatever. A lot of it has to do with legalized gambling. If people don't believe that to be true, don't be naive. Look, we know there's an issue. If anybody's watched the Donaghy Netflix documentary, they clearly see it. Tim Donaghy, the NBA ref that got in trouble for, swaying NBA games and whatnot. If you haven't watched that documentary, I recommend you go do it. It's not the greatest documentary, but there's some really fine points put in there about how he talks about it happens in all sports all the time, always. Even before gambling was legalized, it was a problem. What's my New Year's resolution? I don't know. 2025 has got to be better than 2024 has been for me. That's all I could say, mister. 2024 hasn't been the worst year ever, but it's not been the best year. So mentally, I need 2025 to be so much better. What my resolution will be, I don't know. But it better be better than this year. Raven has had the most holding penalties of any team. They had like one heading call. Absolutely agree. They had a lot of calls. They had a lot of penalties against them yesterday, against the Giants. What's with the tackling by the back of the helmet now? I don't think that's legal. Casey has played a lot of football over the last 3 seasons with their Super Bowl runs. I think that's a fair statement, Steve. Normally, if you make a late run to a Super Bowl or a World Series, the next year you struggle. The Chiefs have done it 3 years in a row. And they're still winning. Despite all the criticism we give the Chiefs, Steve, they're still winning. Got, one loss on the season? So the Chiefs are where the Eagles were last year with the ugly wins. My own madness and New York resolution. Stop my own madness is my. We'll get to New Year's resolutions in a few weeks. The Bills and Lions lighten up the scoreboard wasn't a good thing for both teams. It only showed that both their defenses suck. Jose, correct, accurate. There was a new 30 for 30 about the New York sack exchange. I had no idea how much they hate it. Yeah, look, I haven't watched that one yet. I wanted to talk about that yesterday. He looked super pissed off when he confronted Brett Favre at that, I don't know whether it was an autograph signing or event or whatever. It was crazy. I want my title back. I want my sack back. Man, crazy. But the Tim Donaghy documentary just proved what Rick's saying about how corrupt officiating is in all sports because of gambling. And it's been going on since before it was legalized. Just the legalized gambling is bringing it more to the forefront. And do I blame every bad call on gambling? No. But do I believe there's referees in football right now that are involved in gambling? Probably. It's hard to imagine they didn't. Phil and chat, if you see in reply, clearly the opponent got screwed on a call. The next play has not been snapped. Do you care if it's correct? What? I'm sorry, chat. If you see the in replay, clearly the opponent got screwed on a call. Yeah, they should always fix it. Bills and Lions had more than 1,000 combined offensive yards yesterday. And guess what? They wouldn't have had half that if it was against the Eagles. Because our defense wouldn't allow that. You know, it's okay to win by defense. Dear Jose, you're talking out your back. Josh Allen puts up 40. What? Yeah, look. Yeah, Josh Allen put up 40 plus regularly. And they lost last week. So, whatever. Their defense stinks. Josh Allen's playing great. It is what it is. The NBA definitely fixed games for Michael Jordan. Probably. I wouldn't be shocked, Barbara. Look, again, if you haven't watched, I don't even know if it's still on Netflix, the Tim Donaghy story. But if you haven't watched it, I mean, he flat out admits that he knows of refs that are on the tape. Then they interview one of the mafia people he was involved with. And they say, yeah, we got guys right now in the league reffing on the books. Tim Donaghy, a local Delaware County kid, too. Went to Cardinal O'Hara, which is where I would have gone to if I didn't go to private school. A lot of people I know went to school there. And my brother went there during the same time period as Donaghy. There definitely is. And if you believe your statement is true, Barbara, then you also got to believe it's probably happening in football. It's probably happening in baseball. I don't know if anybody gambles on hockey enough to even know or care about it, but it's probably happening in every sport and probably regularly. And it's just another thing that teams have to battle. Several years ago, the NFL quietly switched their entity from sports entity to entertainment entity, so legally they could script or fix games with no. I'm sorry. What? Like, I know what you said here, and I never heard this before. Interesting. So when it comes out that they have scripted the league, then it's okay. Man, I made a lot of money gambling yesterday. I had a great day. I had a purchase on Fanatics. It gave me $100 in free credits on Fanatics Sportsbook if I signed up. I signed up. I turned a $20 free bet into over $400. So I had a good day on that gambling yesterday. Not reviewing games and punishing officials makes it look like they're taking orders from the front office. Yeah, agreed. Bad calls happen, but it's those blatant ones that have to go. Absolutely. Absolutely agree with you. So why your parents send you to private school? Because I was smart. I knew things. And they didn't really pay much for me to go to private school. I was smart. I was on scholarships, okay? There was a time where I was a preppy. You know, don't let the tattoos and the beard fool you. I used to wear a jacket and tie to school every day, all right? My yearbook said, what if Phil does not know the answer to the question? That was my what if, all right? Just so you know. So I was a smart boy at one point. Then sex, drugs, and alcohol got into my life. My New Year's resolution is to become that more money, more problems, mister. You can't call every hold call, but when you have to call you can't call every hold. Sure. But you can call one. or two. We know Jalen Carter is held on every single play. You got to call it once or twice, right? You can't just let it slide always. You got to call it occasionally. Corrects bad calls in real time. Yeah, the whole, they're starting to do that the NFL a little bit more. I forget the words they use, but they just call down the refs and change things pretty quickly, which I do like that. But they don't do it on penalties, which is something they should be able to. Yeah, we all need the mo money, mo money, mo money. But don't forget, with mo money comes mo problems. Don't forget that, guys. You're watching Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. Guys, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe button if you haven't. Do so already. Do it now. Hit that share button for everybody else, guys. I greatly appreciate it. Just as we get ready to wrap this show up in the next 5 minutes or so. No show tomorrow. Got some personal stuff to take care of very early tomorrow morning. But maybe if tomorrow morning goes well enough and I'm not too exhausted, maybe we'll do a Trending in the PM tomorrow night. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling after tomorrow morning. But some stuff going on. So, guys, hit that like and subscribe button. If we don't do a show tomorrow night, we'll be back Wednesday morning with another episode. I'll try to make up tomorrow morning sometime this week. Great gambling weekend as well. Your hot streak in golf is close to returning. I'm telling you. And I got some extra coin in the bank now, thanks to that big hit yesterday. I like it. I like a 7-leg parlay that pays out 20-1 and hits. Nothing wrong with that, right? Diddy has plenty of money and very few problems. Diddy got a lot of problems. We'll just say that. A lot of problems. Watch, you make a Diddy comment and the chat just goes quiet. Yeah, I don't make New Year's resolutions always. New Year's resolutions normally just don't get followed through with anyway. I do have a resolution that we'd be at 500 by the end of the year and 1,000 next year, but we'll see how that goes. I just want next year to go better than this year, and we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, guys, it's time to wrap this show up. Eagles beat the Steelers. Let's recap here. 27-13. Dominant performance. God only knows what might be going on this week with the media and what they're going to have as their narratives and storylines this week. But the storyline should be that the Eagles put out their most complete game of the season, their most complete game since probably before Buffalo last week. Jalen Hurts maybe best game of his since the Super Bowl in 2022, honestly. To be honest. Phil gonna resolute to respond to fan comments on shorts. I respond to every comment, or at the very least like them. Was a perv, yeah, before he had money, true. I end it whenever I choose to end it, okay? Man, Chatter, not taking anything away from Josh Allen. I believe he's the MVP, but if you have to keep putting up 40 to win, absolutely. Absolutely agree with you on that, Jose. With that being said, I can end the show whenever I want. And it takes time to wrap a show up and get final comments in. That's right. I can't wait to see how this next week game goes. I wish I had stock in Johnson & Johnson baby oil. I wish I would have bought crypto. That's one of my wishes back in the day. Anyway, guys, it's time to wrap it up. Everybody have a great day. Everybody enjoy themselves. We'll be back either tomorrow night, because, again, no show tomorrow morning. We'll either be back tomorrow night or be back Wednesday morning at 8 a.m., guys. Stay tuned. That's why you got to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. Because if I go live tomorrow night for a PM show, if you have the notification bell turned on, you know when I'm live. But you got to click that notification bell to do that. So with that being said, guys, we're going to end it right there. Go Birds. Bubbles up to you.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 pop.